How's it going, everyone? Liam Catterson here, and we are on episode number 19 for Season 2 for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is called I Only Have Eyes for You. And it's crazy, because after this we'll have 3 episodes left of Buffy, and as is the case, I am always a bit further ahead of the YouTube release. So by my recording perspective, I am yet to encounter my my fall break, and I'm sure it's feasible that I can get Season 2 done before I take the break, so when I come back I can start Season 3 reactions. It all lines up really, really neatly. But yeah, last episode was I think a bit more light-hearted. It was still sinister, but it wasn't as crushing as Passion was. But like I said, it was still very, very sinister. So, yeah, with that said, let's just delve right into this reaction. This is episode 19 of Season 2. Let's go.
Hey, no, don't worry about it.
No, you seem like a really great guy. It's me.
She's still not
I'm
over
not
Angel.
seeing anybody.
Still a...
Ever again, actually.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay, well, I better.
Can't blame her with the heartache she's going through.
Sorry.
Stay here. I don't. Now let me go.
No, a person doesn't just wake up one day and stop loving somebody.
Oh, no, this is gonna be abusive, is it? Oh!
It's forever.
Okay, well that's completely morbid.
We weren't even fighting a few minutes ago.
If we weren't, I swear to God.
If you weren't fighting, then why'd you have a gun?
I don't know. I don't even know where I got it.
Unless he was
Seeing
possessed.
he's gone.
What? Some kind of hallucination then?
Pathetic little no-life vegan.
Oh!
Not so fast, Missy. I'm not done with you yet. You stink of lies.
It's a shame your school doesn't have CCTV, because you would have looked like a complete tit right now. Unless there are...
Found this in her drawer. She told me it was a rose quartz, and it has healing powers. I thought she'd want you to have it.
You give it to the squish of the group. Oh.
Thank you, Willow. That's very thoughtful of you.
It's based on a true story, actually. He fell in love with his...
Child. So we have teacher-student...
Labor.
Okay.
And
Not nice.
collective bargaining. Oh my God. You see me, bro?
We know what you actually wanted to write.
All sounds like Hellmouth likes to make.
Ooh! What the frick? Jeez!
The only tried and true way is to work out what unresolved issues keep it here and
It
resolve
is.
them.
Fabulous. Now we're Dr. Laura for the deceased.
Only if we can find out who the spirit is.
That love with the teacher.
Or was.
Oh, shoot! That is... Ooh. That dive, though.
What's going on?
It's Jenny.
What?
You think she's the
Oh.
Don't you see? She died here under tragic circumstances, and now she's trapped.
But
Child's
what about the
buddy.
gun? I mean, Angel didn't shoot Miss Calendar.
The gun is insignificant. It should never be cowed by authority. Except, of course, in this instance, when I'm clearly right and you were clearly wrong.
This is freaky.
It's easy to believe this, though, isn't it?
Be this weird.
I know, we usually investigate things from every boring angle guy. Now he's like cling on to my one lame idea guy. What gives?
He misses her. You can't think. Just a little
Thing in the butt. I mean, otherwise things are gonna get really scary.
Whoa, was that up to... Oh! No, it's stay... Oh, no! Holy shit! Go on, blame it on Buffy!
Same thing happened in San Diego just last week.
More cover stories.
Sooner or later, people are going to figure that out.
City Council was told that you can handle this job. If you feel that you can,
So-
perhaps you'd like to take that up with the mayor.
I'll handle it.
So
he's on the know that this is
Remember
the
plan
help.
to contact
Holy
the spirit and talk
shit!
to it? Scrap that plan. For protection.
You expect me to wear this? It smells like grandpa breath.
Sorry, I didn't have a lot of time. I had to use sulfur.
Cordelia, it's either
Okay, let's
this
do
or... I say we just let her just get haunted for the rest
No
of...
problem.
Like her
This
car.
will be a piece of cake, right?
Great!
It's opening.
Incoming. I love when she does this.
What gate's opening?
see?
It's black. It wants her.
Wants who?
Slayer.
Ooh.
It's time, Angel.
I think this whole Slayer thing has run its course. I'm ready to focus my energy elsewhere.
Oh!
Really?
Oh, yeah.
These two are just going at each
You
other's
being
throats.
special needs boy, I figure I should stick close to home. You and Drew can always use another pair of hands.
Bastard! It's in a sense heartbreaking, this, isn't it? As well as Buffy looking. Heartbreaking, that is scary. Woof. Oh! What the shoot? Ah! Oh, this is... Ugh! You know, last episode gave nightmares, this episode's gonna give nightmares.
Are you all right?
I don't like the trend going on here.
Jimmy could never be this mean.
What? Are they bees? Oh. Oh my god, this is just crazy.
He's doomed to kill his Miss Newman over and over and over again, and
Until everyone's dead.
forgiveness is impossible.
Good. He doesn't deserve it.
To forgive is an act of compassion, Buffy. It's not done because
But
people
he
deserve
acted
it. It's done because
recklessly.
they need it.
No. James destroyed the one person he loved the most.
Then tell me you don't love me!
Say it!
Holy shit, this is heartbreaking.
Without help.
Given the circumstance of Angel.
Don't. Now let me go.
No. A person doesn't just wake up and stop loving somebody.
Holy shit, this is heartbreaking.
Love is forever.
Oh.
Now give me the gun.
Don't. Don't do that, damn it!
Don't talk to me like I'm some stupid.
It was an accidental shot, wasn't it? Holy shit. In some sense, I encourage what has been done to Angel, but there we go. Is he gonna snap back to... Oh, shit.
You thought I stopped loving you. I never did.
This is how the loop gets broken.
No more tears.
Holy shit. Holy shit! This is wrong, but it's right! This ain't the awkwardest kiss at all. Buffy.
Everything seems normal. Part of me just doesn't understand why she would forgive him.
Does it matter?
No.
Oh, I will.
Oh boy! It's getting real now! He back!
Sooner than you think.
Woohoo! He back! The wheels have come off. I don't know why, but in a sense, I am thinking enemy of my enemy. The route that they might be going with Spike, because he's stuck between a rock and a hard place with Buffy and Angel, because in one hand he wants the Slayer dead, part of the course for the vampires. On the other hand, he is so devoted to Drusilla, and that's now at threat as well. He doesn't want to lose that to Angel, which he's currently losing so far. So it will be very, very interesting to see where things do go. Like, is he going to have to consult Buffy for help in some capacity? Because it's not impossible to like team up with your enemy. It's the enemy of my enemy trope. So yeah, but we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so I really enjoyed that episode so much. It was a very deep episode, delving into the emotions, especially regarding guilt and forgiveness, and it was a really, really well done episode in a very haunting fashion, with the poltergeist scenario that was going around and some eerily sinister scenes like the snakes and the arm that grabbed Xander. So I really enjoyed how this episode did play out, as well as the parallel that played off with James and the teacher and Buffy and Angel. I thought that was a really, really extraordinary scene, especially when I'll just move that down. Especially when Buffy was possessed, because I thought James could only inhabit the males for some reason, but I guess it made sense that I think the teacher was affected by James in some capacity, but it makes more sense as well because Buffy and James are in a similar scenario. James being the one to possess Buffy was because Angel pulled away from Buffy. Similar, like the teacher was pulling away from James. So it's that parallel. And in the end, I'm glad that dynamic did work out in terms of resolving the forgiveness part for James and the teacher, because as we found out, it wasn't down to abuse or domestics. It was down because of an accident, given the body language of James when he shot the teacher. And it was like Angel's turn to the dark side. It wasn't much Angel's fault. It was rather Love's fault. Love made Angel turn, and that desperation that James had accidentally made him pull the trigger. He was so super passionate in trying to trap the teacher in his hands, that when things seemed to have quelled down, when they were like at the balcony thing, James was still stuttering, and it's that accidental pressing of the trigger, and lo and behold, we saw what happened to the teacher next. Gotta say though, I did really enjoy the fact that Buffy managed to shoot Angel, because it was so glorious, and it was just a weird feeling, because this wasn't Buffy and Angel. It was still continuing the loop that James was trapped in until he could be forgiven. But it was just so eerie because of the fact that we acknowledge the rift with Angel and Buffy at the minute. And Buffy managing to get a bit of a punch, even though it wasn't by her own will alone, on Angel. So I really did enjoy how that bit played out. But yeah, it was pretty great stuff. And yeah, it did seem to suggest that for James and Buffy, that love was the real enemy, because as I've made that parallel to Angel and the teacher, they, like, well, Angel's turn to the dark side wasn't his fault, much like James pulling the trigger. Yeah, exactly. So that love can, well, it's the saying, love can make us do crazy things, and it was pretty crazy to see the teacher getting shot. But also, Ben, I think it was at the very beginning, he asked Buffy out, which I'm sure the Sadie Hawkins thing, it was iterated that the women ask the men out, but he was like, I think he was trying to shove his name into the hat, like, I'm here, just saying. But Buffy said, like, he tried to ask out Buffy, but it was too soon. And I do like how they are playing on her emotions, because she is a bit younger, so her emotions are going to be a bit more intense. But it's the situation, like, when you've spent so long with a partner and you've just suffered a breakup, part of your mind is afraid to love again because you fear that love is going to betray you. Whether it be death or just the natural breakup. Buffy said that she didn't want to date again, and I'm sure she will date again at some capacity, but in her current mindset, she's afraid to offer her trust to love. And I can be on and I'm on the same boat, because with my recent relationship breakup, I've basically been adamant on the fact that well, at first it was, I don't think I want to get into a relationship again. And that transitioned to me currently putting myself out there, but no one's picked me up yet, so that's great. No, but I've said to myself that if I never get a relationship again, then that will be okay at the end of the day. So it's that fear of putting your mind into the hands of love, because you don't want to be betrayed again, and letting go seems to be the big theme in this episode, especially with Giles, which I found pretty heartbreaking, like Giles in this episode, because this episode did have a big impact on his reaction to Jenny's death, whereas it was touched up upon in small doses in the last episode. But I think I can understand that, because after Passion, I think the episode after that needed a bit of a cool down before the wounds would be reopened again. And it was in this episode when Giles was so adamant on the fact, even to the point where he said, "I'm right, and it doesn't matter what you guys say." He was adamant on the fact that this poltergeist was Jenny. And it was absolutely heartbreaking, because even though there were uncharacteristics with this poltergeist in comparison to Jenny, Giles doesn't want to let go. He doesn't want to say goodbye yet, albeit he wants to speak to Jenny in some capacity, so it's easier to believe that this poltergeist is Jenny, of course. But it was very heartbreaking to just go into Giles's character this episode, because he's still suffering that grief, and you can understand why. Like, I am glad that they are further extending the wounds of Jenny's death rather than just have him forget. Like I said, this episode played a big part on that. But yeah, I can't blame him whatsoever, because you have to remember that Jenny was the first person that he loved. So it's going to be very, very... It will take probably a very long time in the Buffyverse for Giles to successfully move on. If he wants to date again, it will take a very long time, because not only was the first person that he loved someone that he lost, but he saw her body right there in his bed. So it's going to be a sight that will take a very, very long time to wash away, or to try and like, he will still have a lot of nightmares surely about seeing that scene. So yeah, and you felt so bad for him in this episode, because he just went through a lot of grief in this episode, and it was just heartbreaking. He wanted to have that chance to commune with Jenny, because he never got... Well, it's that fact that he never got a proper goodbye as well. So yeah, but I gotta say, I do like the fact that he did say to Buffy about that forgiveness is an act of compassion, not done because it's deserved, but because it's needed. Because I was on Buffy's side before Giles said that, because that's where my mind started to feel a bit conflicted. But especially, it's not just the wisdom of the wording that Giles utilized, but also because the characters themselves have gone through a lot of guilt, and to the point where they have been asked for forgiveness. Jenny and Giles, for example, are the perfect example. Like, it's like Giles is speaking from experience, because Jenny wouldn't forgive... Like, Jenny found it hard to forgive Giles, and vice versa. And before you know it, Jenny dies before they can patch things up securely. So I feel like that was a wise, heart-aching line that Giles could utilize. He could speak from experience, because he never got that chance to cement that forgiveness with Jenny, because they were both because it was a game of tennis in terms of, well, I don't feel I could forgive you yet, between Jenny and Giles. So yeah, but I thought that was a really, really really good line that Giles could utilize. We also, the themes in this episode was basically letting go and forgiving love, especially since Buffy and, like, I thought that this was all down to abuse at first, but it was a nice twist to see. It seemed like it was an accident. So yeah, and not just that though, but Buffy refused to forgive James, and then we had that scene at the end where forgiveness was there, and James could finally live with that forgiveness, because he's finally got the chance to tell the teacher that it was all an accident. So yeah, but yeah, it was a pretty great episode. I loved how Willow did contribute as well in closing the open questions, and being able to try and put form a plan to stopping James. I thought it was really good for her, as well as the eerie scenes, like I said, with the snakes and tentacle grabbing Xander. That was really eerie. We also had a bit of Snyder in this episode, which I thought was the first time we've seen him in quite some time. And he now knows about the Hellmouth, which is a very good piece of development from Snyder, because he is no longer just this character who's just a foil for the Scoobies. He knows more, and it seems to suggest that he was moved to being principal under a case of deliberation. Well, of course, I think that's stating the obvious, given the fact that he knows about the Hellmouth's existence. So it's not. So yeah, it would have been stating the obvious, but the fact that he knows about the existence of the Hellmouth is pretty interesting. But yeah, it was a scene where he confronted that police guy, or FBI guy, should I say, or whatever. It was a scene that made my eyes like widen so much because of the fact that we saw that in School Hard, where our suspicions began with Snyder. Because they were aware this was, like Snyder said in front of Joyce, oh, it's PCP. And when he had that scene with that officer, he was aware that it wasn't PCP, it was something more. So there was thoughts going around there about, oh, is he up to something? And this seems to extend further with his knowledge of the Hellmouth. So that was really, really great. Like I said, it's different from him. Like, it's not different. It's develops from him just being a foil for the Scoobies. And it's pretty ironic. I'm sure it's just the front. But I'm sure as well he knows that Buffy is the Slayer. Hence why he keeps picking on Buffy. He's, I don't know, trying to keep an eye on her or something like that. But he does, it's no I do feel like it's no coincidence that he knows about the Hellmouth, and his fascination with Buffy is paramount. So yeah. And I already did touch up upon Spike immediately after the episode. Like I do, and I do feel for him so much, because whilst the scenes with him and Angel can be viewed as comedic, as it can also be viewed as gut-wrenching for Spike, because Drusilla, we know that he has this big big connection with Drusilla, and now he is losing her because of Angel. Because I'm sure Drusilla is basically seeing Angel as a bit of an upgrade, given, Spike, should I say, former condition, because now he is able to walk and kick ass. But I don't think he can school Angel by himself. So that's why I do think, in a sense, that he might go to Buffy, because it's the whole enemy of my enemy shtick. When you have another adversary that seems to be like a bit of a stretch to take down, you go to a person who also views that person as an enemy. So I do feel like Spike will somehow go to Angel. No, he will somehow go to Buffy and ask for her help, because I don't think Spike's able to take down Angel on his own. So he's going to need the help he can get, so he can put a stop to Angel and reclaim dominance, because that's the thing. He has been the mud on Angel's heel ever since he got tossed into oblivion by Buffy. And no, not that, but ever since Angelus came to form. But it's not been looking good for him since episode 10. But he's going to need all the help he can get if he is to reclaim dominance, because you have to remember, back in School Hard, he came and he played a big number in front of the Anointed One and showcased his dominance in big fashion. And now that he's in this current state and Angelus is here and he is taking everything from Spike, you do have to feel that reputation could dwindle. And you've got to well, this might be the interesting thing. Some people might think of him as weak anyways for teaming with Buffy, because I mean, the vampires and Buffy, it's not good. It's basically it's not a good relationship, is it? No, but in all seriousness, they might have that viewpoint, but if Spike is to reclaim dominance, he's got to be realistic, and he's got to team with Buffy if he is going to take down Angel. So whereas your reputation could be risked even further, because some people might think, oh, you've teamed with the Slayer, we can never forgive you. You want that dominance, and not just that, but you want Drew back at your side, because I don't think he could really give a toss about the other vampires, but he gives a toss about Drusilla, and that's the key thing, and he is losing her, so he's got a team with Buffy, because he can't take on Angel by himself. So Yeah, but it was a very solid episode that delved deep in emotions and deep into the themes of forgiveness and letting go. So I thought this was a really solid episode. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. You can check my videos on the right if you want to check out more of my content. You can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodles!